Hey guys, what's up? This is Jeff Geronimo and thank you for watching this video. And for today, exciting yung topic natin because right now, I'll share 12 things for you if you want to earn income as a photographer. So, perfect tong video na to sa mga aspiring photographers out there na they're thinking if paano ba nila pagkakakitaan yung hobby nila or nagsisimula ka pa lang, you want an extra income and you know that you're good at photography. So here are the 12 things na kailangan mong malaman if you really want to earn income as a photographer. So let's get started. So first thing that you need to know is you need to know the market that you want to target. So maraming market kasi once that you enter photography, no? Marami dyan yung pangmasa, pwede dyan yung mga high-end. So, yun yung mga market na tinatawag natin. Yung market na yun, segmentize siya to different sectors or segment. So, merong market A, market B, market C. If you're starting pa lang, I would suggest na start dun sa average. Wag naman yung sobrang baba. Wag rin naman yung sa sobrang taas na market. No? Why average? Kasi syempre, you have cost na ginagastos kapag nag-start ka mag-business, no? And you need to cover it up. Later, i-discuss natin yun. So, you need to earn money to cover up your business. So, you need to target the average first para at least meron kang pera na pampaikot later on. So, first thing on the list is know your market na gusto mong i-target. Okay, second on the list is, I mentioned earlier, kailangan alam mo yung market mo, right? Then, bakit average yung sinasuggest ko? Kasi sinabi ko kanina, may cost implications yon. Ano ba yung sinasabi natin cost implications? Meron ka ng camera and kahit kailan naman pwede ka mag-shoot. So, wala ka namang cost na ginagawa, kundi yung pamasahe mo lang. No, you're wrong. Kasi marami kang cost na dapat consider not only during the photoshoot, but even after the photoshoot. So, right now, I'll discuss with you paano ka ba magpa-price based dun sa market and yung need mo. So for example, you're looking at the diagram right now, meron kang fixed cost kasi. Ano ba yung mga fixed cost mo? For example, sabihin na natin na yung equipment mo ngayon is hinuhulugan mo for credit payment. So sabihin na natin 22,000 a month yung kailangan mong hulugan. Then, you have also the subscription, which is, for example, nakasubscribe ka sa Adobe. So, sabihin na natin 5,000 yun per month and other stuff like Calendly or other project management app or Artlist, you need to consider those things. So, under subscription siya. Next thing is your electricity. Siyempre, kapag ka nag-edit ka, you consume electricity. So, sabihin na natin, total cost of that is 31,000. Now, we will determine gaano ba karaming shoot na kailangan mo i-meet per month. So sabihin na natin sobrang sipag mo or kailangan mo talagang bumawi kasi kaka-invest mo lang, then you need to shoot for about like 20 shoots per month. Then i-divide natin ngayon yung 31,000 to 20. So meron tayong lalabas na cost of service per shoot mo na 1,550. Meaning, ito yung constant cost mo every shoot. So, lahat ng shoot mo merong ganitong cost. So, ito lang ba yung dapat mong singilin? Hindi. Now, we will compute ano ba yung dapat mong singilin kada shoot mo. So, price per shoot. Now, na-determine na natin yung cost of service mo which is 1,550. I-add na natin ngayon yung transportation cost mo, then yung food allowance mo. So, sabihin na natin 1,000 for the transportation, then food allowance mo is 500 for the whole day. Bakit kailangan meron kang food allowance? Shouldered naman ni client yun. No, you should consider that even shouldered siya ni client. Bakit? Hindi mo naman ini-expect na baka makalimutan na serve yung food, gutom ka during the shoot. So, hindi. In my experience, I always allot food allowance kasi may mga times na hindi ka talaga mapapakain or may mga times na nakalimutan ni client. At least hindi ka gutom. But again, you need to clear those things out bago kayo mag-shoot. But for me, I include food allowance in my cost. Next is your professional fee. So, iba pa ba siya, Jeff, sa cost of service mo? Iba pa siya, syempre. Cost of service is yung lahat ng expenses mo para magawa mo yung shoot mo. Hindi siya yung professional fee mo. Okay? Sana malinaw yon. So, yung professional fee, paano ba natin siya i-compute? So, ako, nilagyan ko lang siya ng logic behind it, but you can do many computation or assumption for that. But for me, I assume like 150% or 200% of the total cost, meaning yung sum ng cost of service, transportation, and food allowance. So, i-multiply mo siya sa 1.5. So, lalabas siya for us right now is 4,575. Meaning, yun na ba yung charge mo for your client? Hindi pa. So, i-add mo ulit yung 1,550 sa 1,000, tsaka yung 500, plus the 4,575, total of 7,625. So, bakit mo in-add ulit? So, meaning, kinompute mo lang naman kung ano yung professional fee mo. So, meaning, wala pa dun yung cost. That's only your professional fee. Those professional fees are covering your personal expenses and also even your groceries. So right now, ang charge mo is total of 7,625, which is your final price na pwede mong isend like sa studio owner or sa mga nakakausap mong kliyente. So one thing lang na kailangan yung tandaan kapag nagko-costing kayo is consider all your expenses. Hindi pwedeng may makaligtaan ka. Why? Kasi you're running a business, and because you're running a business, maraming cost implications yan. And you need to consider those things para hindi naman business na palugi ka. So you have those profit at the end of the day. So third thing on the list is continuously build your portfolio. Why you need to continuously build your portfolio? Kasi every now and then you build your experiences, you shoot different gigs, and different gigs nagkakaroon ka ng different creative executions, and maganda yon para once nagkaroon or may nag-inquire sa'yo, hindi ka mangangarag na doon ka pala mag-update ng portfolio mo. So, ugaliin natin na mag-schedule tayo ng time sa calendar natin na i-update yung portfolio natin. So, question is, saan ba magpo-post ng portfolio? So, I have 4 examples here na pwede nyong pag-postan ng works nyo, no? First is your website. If ever na meron kang website, kailangan mong mag-post doon para at least kapag may nag-check ng website nyo, updated yung lahat ng work nyo. Second is, lahat ng pinopost ko sa website, pinopost ko din sa Behance. But again, context is the key here. Hindi pwedeng kung ano yung pinost mo sa website, ganun din yung ipopost mo sa Behance. So, kailangan mo siyang i-repurpose based dun sa platform na pagpo-postan mo. So, sa Behance, medyo kailangan aesthetically pleasing yung pagka-present ng projects nyo. Third on the list is Instagram. So, basically, Instagram is photo or reels version of your outputs. So, kailangan mo siyang gawin na parang ganon. So, sa Facebook naman, you can just directly post your reels or your photos based on dun sa mga nagawa mo for your Instagram or Behance or website. So, Facebook hinuhuli ko kasi mirror dumping ko lang na platform. Kaya, lagi ko inuuna na sa priority. Wala pa kaming website right now kasi we're still planning for our content for that, but Behance is really working for us. So doon kami nagpo-focus and doon kami nag-update ng aming works. So fourth on the list is develop your branding. So logo lang ba yung branding? Hindi actually. Branding is your DNA or personality of your business. So meaning, so ito yung tone mo kapag nakikipag-usap ka sa client, paano ka mag-post, paano yung captioning mo. Hindi lang siya basta logo. Yung visual identity kasama na rin dito kasi visual identity is your face, the face of your brand, but it doesn't mean na yun lang siya. So, branding is all throughout or 360 of your business. So, nandiyan na yung client relationship management mo, paano ka makipag-usap sa client mo, even after your work. So, if you really want to make photography as your business, don't focus on the creative side only. Kailangan mag-develop ka rin or mag-improve ka rin on the admin side, which is yung branding mo nga. Your branding speaks about your business talaga, and even it will speak about you. So, kailangan mo i-build tong branding na to and pagtibayin mo siya and be firm na, okay, ito yung branding ko, dapat masunod siya every now and then. Okay, fifth on the list is register your business and other legal documents. So, I'm really grateful na may mga client ako na nag-push sa akin i-register yung business. Don't get me wrong, I'm doing this before na like freelance lang or yung mga classmates ko, sila lang yung nagtitiwala talaga sa work ko. So, kung after namin mag-shoot, talagang kumakain lang kami sa labas or they just give me something from it. And I understand that kasi nagsisimula pa lang talaga ako and wala pa sa mindset ko na gagawin ko siyang business. But if you really want to make photography as your business and income stream, you really need to register your business. And by means of registering, so pupunta ka sa government, BIR, DTI, and all of those legal document, kailangan meron ka. Why? Kasi it is also a security for you once na you're entering transactions like contracts, para at least secured ka kung may mangyari mang hindi natin kagusto-gusto or di natin gusto in the future, at least secured ka ng contract mo, secured ka ng business registration mo, and all those legal stuff. So guys, please, if you're really serious about making photography as your business, register and arrange your legal documents. So 6 on the list is, ito minsan nakakaligtaan natin, yung properly handling our cash flow or cash. So, why, Jeff, kailangan natin malaman yung cash flow natin, no? Hindi porket kasi na may pumasok sa atin, kailangan mag-isip na tayo agad, ano ba yung equipment na bibilin ko? Sinong guilty doon, no? Kung sa may mga client tayo, minsan naisip tayo, okay, bibili na ako ng lens ko, okay, bibili ako ng ganitong equipment. So, guys, please be mindful of your cash flow. Dapat mas mataas yung inflow nyo or yung pasok ng pera nyo kaysa sa expense nyo. So, what I'm doing right now, which is nakakatulong talaga, is I'm using credit card. So, I don't pay in cash. Although yung iba sasabihin, kasi peace of mind kapag kina-cash nyo. Okay naman siya kung kaya naman ng cash flow nyo. But for me kasi mas okay or mas favorable sa cash flow namin yung installment. Why? Kasi as if na parang yung mga projects namin or napapagplanuhan namin, paano namin babayaran yung mga expenses namin, which is nandun naman talaga siya. But again, because we have proper costing, na-consider din namin siya na kung paano namin babayaran. So credit cards, installments improves our cash flow kasi hindi siya one time, big time. And we were able to plan kung ano lang yung ilalabas namin for this month or ano lang yung papasok for this month. And mas napapataas namin yung inflow kaysa yung outflow. And actually, why I'm telling you this, guys, kasi alam nyo ba na most of the business right now nagsasara because of mishandling of cash. Meron tayong source dito sa baba, so pwede nyo basahin yan later. But yeah, so kung isipin nyo, bakit sila nagsasara? Most of them, ang reason, mishandling of cash. So napaka-importante talaga maintindihan nyo paano nyo ba ibabalance yung inflow tsaka outflow ng cash nyo. So that's for our 6th item. You should know how to handle your cash well. So 7 on the list is upgrading your equipment. So familiar ba kayo sa linya na to na nasa India yan, wala sa pana? Actually, somehow that's true, but for me, in my 100% honest opinion, that's only the 50% of the whole story. Why? Kasi syempre, importante yung skill. Don't get me wrong. But as you move forward, importante yung equipment na ginagamit mo for you to be able to be more effective and efficient. So the keyword here is being efficient. Why? Kasi sa sobrang pag nag-boom na yung business mo, marami ka ng clients, kailangan mo maging efficient in handling your time. So kailangan mabilis ka and your equipment nakakasabay sa'yo. So same with Indians. Depende sa hinahunt nilang animal yung ginagamit nilang arrow, no? Hindi naman one arrow fits all, diba? So, same with us na kapag may chance na mag-upgrade ng equipment, we should upgrade kasi para din naman sa atin yun and for our client, for us to give a better result, better output for them, and also for us to be more efficient. Again, binibigyan kong emphasis yung efficiency kasi malaking tulong sa inyo later on kasi kapag efficient kayo in doing your things, mas marami kayong magagawa. So, don't forget to upgrade your equipment. Next is importance of mentors. Big shout out to Sir Edwin, Sir Wendy, Direk Paulo, Direk Ian, and marami pang iba. Si Sir Anvi, si Sir Arvin, na past boss ko. So, naging crucial nung role nila sa paglago ko as a business-minded person and also like in handling my business altogether and even my skill as a photographer. So, having a mentor, mas malaki siyang tulong for you, lalo na kung you're eager to learn more things sa craft mo or sa industry nyo. Hindi lang sa skill ng photography, kundi sa pag-handle din ng business. Having a mentor, they will really guide you kasi totoo naman talaga nauna na sila at mas marami silang alam na pasikot-sikot sa pag-handle ng business and even sa photography. So learning from them is not a loss but really a huge gain. So next part is network and collaboration. For me, napaka-important yung makipag-network and collaborate sa kapwa mo photographer and also to other individuals like marketing managers, accounts managers, especially yung mga agencies. Why? You're a business owner, hindi ka lang photographer dito, no? So you need to produce leads that will eventually convert to your profit. So meaning, kailangan mo ng network and collaboration para dun ka huhugot ngayon kapag kailangan mo ng mga ng mga kliyente, or kapag may kailangan silang requirement, hindi ka laging stress na saan ba ako kukuha ng kliyente, sino ba yung pwede kong matap para mabigyan ako ng kliyente. So those networks and collaborations will really help you in growing your business and producing leads that will eventually convert to sales. But again, may caveat doon. So pupunta tayo sa next part, which is when not to collaborate, or kailan ka ba titigil makipag-collaborate. So simple lang naman, no? Kapag yung collaboration mo is minsan kapantay na noong number of paid shoots mo. Meaning, for example, 10 yung collaborations mo, 10 din yung paid shoots mo. But the collaborations, walang income yun. So technically, 10 shoots lang yung nagpapatakbo sa'yo for the whole month. Di ba sabi nga natin, 20 shoots para makover mo lahat ng expenses mo. So, lugi ka. Sabihin ba natin na yun sa collaboration, dalawa doon is paid collaboration, lugi pa rin. So, kailangan mo lang i-balance yung collaboration versus paid gig ratio mo. So, for me, mas ideal na, for example, 15 yung paid gigs mo, 5 yung collaborations mo. So, meron pa rin nagsosupport, or somehow baka break even ka kung 15 yung paid gigs mo, tas 5 yung collaboration mo. At least, nag-i-increase yung network mo, at the same time, meron kang income. So, again, hindi masamang makipag-collaborate, pero may limit yan. So, let's go to the next part, which is, I think, mas controversial, which is yung X-deals. So, this has been an issue sa industry natin, no? Yung pag-X-deal ng shoot. So, paano ba talaga natin maiintindihan yung X-deal? So, from the word itself, X-deal, X, meaning win-win situation dapat. May nakuha si other party, meron ding nakuha si other party. The usual transaction na nakikita ko ay ganito. So for example, meron tayong 2 days out of town shoot and ang transportation cost mo is 2,000. Syempre, out of town yun, so kailangan mo ng accommodation cost, which is 4,000. Syempre, yung food mo, sinabi ko nga kanina na kailangan to. So, sabihin na natin 1,000 yung i-allot natin for this one. Then, yung out of town fee natin is 2,000. Syempre, kailangan mo ng out of town fee kasi hindi mo alam kung ano yung pwede mangyari sa'yo outside the country or outside the town. Then, next is your service cost, which is napag-usapan nga natin na 1,550, tas yung professional fee natin, then, yung total cost natin. Tapos, ito yung usual na nangyayari na cost from the client na sabi nila na isi-shoulder na nila and ibibigay nila sa'yo. Sabi nila, libre na yung transportation, libre na yung accommodation, libre na yung food. But kung titignan nyo, yung shoulder lang naman ng client mo is yung basic cost. Meaning, wala kang profit from that deal. So, anong nangyari? Win-lose situation siya. Just imagine, ito yung cost ng client mo, ito yung cost na ginastos mo. Tignan mo gaano kalaki yung na-loss from your business because of your X deal. So be mindful lang in dealing with those X deals kasi kailangan nyo i-consider na dapat win-win situation, hindi ka dapat maging win-lose situation. So bibigyan ko kayo ng example, paano ba natin mata-turn into win-win situation yung mga X deals natin. So here, from our example earlier, may transportation cost tayo, accommodation cost, food allowance, out-of-town fee, your service cost, your professional fee, times 2 natin kasi 2 days to. Then from your client, dapat meron siyang transportation cost, kasi nga X-deal, accommodation, food allowance. Yan yung usual na kino-cover nila. But you should demand or you should explain to them na kailangan meron silang i-shoulder pa na this kind of amount para maging X-deal yung usapan nyo. In our case, merong bibilin si client for us na lens in exchange for our service na siya nang bahala magbayad sa store, which cost of this kind of amount. Then, kung titignan mo, ito total natin yung cost ni client right now, mas mataas na siya dun sa ginastos mo for this shoot. And the profit for this X deal is this kind of amount. So that's how you really deal with X deals. So again, the keyword here is dapat win-win situations. So don't be shy to ask for other ways para ma-cover up nila yung lacking dun sa cost na meron sila. And hindi meaning na kapag shoulder nila yung accommodation, transportation, and food is X deal na yun, no? So, again, check nyo na lang yung example natin earlier or check our write-up from this content para makita nyo kung paano ba talaga kino-compute or paano ba kayo magkakaroon ng win-win situation in this kind of situation. Then last on the list, which I think is one of the crucial things na kailangan mong malaman if you really want to make your like photography as a business is you need to learn every day. Don't be stubborn in learning, and don't be stubborn na alam mo na lahat, kasi if you will think that you know everything, growth will stop. So you need to learn every day, kasi sa creative industry, mabilis yung pag-evolve niyan, even the technology. If you will stick to like 17-year-old or 10 years old na camera equipment, and you will not upgrade, for example, or you will not adapt to the new systems, baka eventually hindi mo na alam kung paano gamitin yung mga camera right now. Then eventually hindi ka na maka-close ng client, kasi meron silang mga requirements altogether for the technology part. And that's the reason why you really need to learn every day and learn from your mentors, learn from your networks, your collaborators, kasi dun ka matututo on growing your business and handling your business well. So please guys, learn every day. So I think that's the last part for this video. I hope this video helped you in pursuing or in boosting your motivation in pursuing photography as a business or as your income stream. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the like and share button. And if you want to learn more about content creation and creative business, don't forget to click the subscribe button, kasi marami pa tayong i-share dito sa channel na to. So that's all for today, guys. Once again, this is Jeff Geronimo. Thank you for watching this video. See you on our next one. Bye. Peace.